Thanks for the support as a channel member, Felix Bjorkman. You're not going to hear any arguments from me. Ryan Allen, absolute turning point for us here at Apollon. He's already considered a 5-star world-class player and as you know, because you handled the negotiations for me, very well done, by the way, Mrs Wearmouth. He's just put pen to paper on a new 5-year contract. Ryan Allen is going to be the player who leads us to Champions League glory. Yeah, I hope it's this season as well. Hello and welcome to part 91 of the Greek Odyssey. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a double header against Liverpool in the Champions League group stage. Away first, then at home. Since you were last with me, I was about to say we've won lots of games, as I usually do, but actually, looking at what's Paskev been up to here. A 1-1 draw at home to Panathinaikos. That's Panathinaikos, not Panathinaikos. And then a 3-2 defeat away against Ike. That's 2 domestic games without a win. I don't remember the last time that happened. That means we're not actually top of the league. Not only are we not top of the league, Ike have got a 5-point gap on us. We might actually not win the league this year. That would be utterly baffling if that happened. Good work to Ike, but that's a little situation that we need to handle. But first, we need to handle this Liverpool situation. Liverpool are currently top of the Premier League, which is going to be problematic in itself. There you go. Liverpool and Everton, the top 2 teams in the Premier League. But Liverpool, 9 from 9 in the best league in the world. And we've not won in 2 games in the Greek league, which is the 8th best league in the world. If we get anything out of Liverpool here, we're going to be very, very happy. And this is going to be the team that we put out there to try and get something out of Liverpool. We're going with Tennessee in goal, a back four of Kansarovic, Criado, Hernandez and Kalapitas, Milo at the base of the midfield, Dominguez and Duffy ahead of him, and then Allen, Carnevali and Lensina as our front 3. I was told how to do this thing. We're going to try this thing. So we've now got Carnevali and Allen swapping positions with each other during the match. So it rotates who's going to be up front and who's going to be out on this left-hand side. I've not tried this for years in Football Manager. I don't know if it's going to work, but we've got 2 players who are both great in both of those positions. So I think it might just be, especially if Liverpool come in and try and do any kind of man-marking job, it might just be enough to cause the confusion that we would quite like to cause to allow us to come and grab anything out of this game. Grab a goal out of this game would be good. We're going into it in the worst form we've been in for years. Liverpool are dominating. We've got to try any advantage we can possibly lay our hands on to try and come away with a point. If we can come away from this game with a point, we're going to be very happy. Ultimately, looking at Hertha and CSKA Moscow, it's looking like even if we lose both of these games against Liverpool, there's probably a very good chance we're going to be finishing second in the group because we should be able to comfortably navigate our way past the other 2 teams in tomorrow's episode. But it would be nice, if we're serious about winning the Champions League, we have to be serious about coming to places like Anfield and getting something close to a result. Because that's the only way we're ever going to be good enough to win the Champions League is if we're not scared of teams like Liverpool. Allen is definitely a fully fledged world-class player. He's got his full 5 stars. There you go. They've just swapped over. Allen's just gone up front. Carnevali's gone out onto the left-hand side. I don't know who decides when they swap, whether it's something they agree amongst themselves, which I guess then relies on their own intelligence, or is the captain dealing with it, or not quite sure how it works, but they're just sort of periodically swapping over to see who has most success, most fun up there, which I guess while I'm trying to decide which one of them is my long-term striker and which one of them is going to have a future out on the left wing, I guess this is the best way to do it. Or we might just end up doing this forever. Who knows? Liverpool have just grabbed a goal, though. I don't want to say it's against the run of play, but it's their first shot on target. After 33 minutes, we'd already had a clear-cut chance. They hadn't, and they've scored with their first shot on target. Which, how have they still got Trent Alexander-Arnold playing for them in whatever distant future we're living in here? This is ridiculous. They've got Joe Thromez in there as well. Two of my former Streamer Showdown boys. In fact, I don't think I've ever had Trent in the Streamer Showdown. But that's a Liverpool defence, or half a Liverpool defence that's been together about 20 years at this point. Right, do the underdog speech. Neither of the strikers having a particularly good game so far, although Allen is having slightly the best of it so far, I guess. But he's now anxious, presumably because he's constantly swapping his position around. What I have to remember is to turn that off as and when I bring Acosta on to play up front, because he's not going to... I don't want him out on the wing. I want him up front if he comes on, or when he comes on, because he's coming on now for Carnevale. And this is where it starts to get messy, because if I remember from how this used to work in the past, if I turn this off now, which I've now done, the problem we're going to have is I'm going to bring Acosta on for Carnevale. I'm going to do this, and I guarantee about 3 minutes' time, they're going to swap over. I don't think it matters which way around I do that. I think they're just going to swap over just to mess with me, to discourage me from using that button, is my theory. Right, Lencina's going to come off as well. Sanchez can come on that side. And you know what? We might do a third change. This is something that the comment section has been screaming for. We're going to bring on Leica for Milo, and we're going to go to a 4-2-3-1. And we're going to just drop Duffy back a little bit. He doesn't need to be quite so gung-ho. With Leica in there ahead of him. In fact, what we'll do is we'll put Sanchez on the attack as well. I'm tempted to put Acosta on support. I see he's apparently not as good at support as he is at attack. So if we have those three as the attack, and then we're going to do this. 3 men in support in midfield. What I am a little bit worried about is it means we're not going to have anyone breaking through lines from different positions. So all our midfielders are on support. All our attackers are on attack. So that might not be ideal, but with the players we've got on there and the roles we're playing them in, I want the 2 wide players doing the attacking, with Leica dropping a little bit deeper in the middle. That was a very tempting ball over the top from Sanchez. Is that Alan up front again? Hold on. I mean, I told you it was going to happen. Acosta needs to go up front. Alan out on the left. In fact, Alan can go out on the right. How do we... Sanchez can go to his natural position on the left. We could even give him a go being the inverted winger over there to get some crosses over for Acosta, and Alan can play over this side as the inside forward. We're going to do that, and then we're going to demand more. Sanchez wins the ball back nicely again. Sanchez seems up for it since he's been on the pitch. Ball forward. Alan nods down for Sanchez. Sanchez goes past his man. That's great work from Sanchez. But Liverpool are able to bring an elite winger off the bench. We're not at that kind of level yet. We have a corner, though. It's Sanchez with the in-swinger. We have got our corner tactics set up now, which we didn't have for like a year, as we established in one of the previous episodes. But that is now up and running. So, I mean, we've not looked out of our depth here against Liverpool today. Alan now with the clearance, but he's cleared it towards where he should have been standing. So he's not there to get on the end of it. Acosta trying to do a little bit of chasing down. We've come here. We've been roughly even for possession, roughly even for shots. We've had the one clear-cut chance of the game fell to us. So I certainly don't think we should be disappointed in the performance we've had here at Liverpool. The problem is that's been the story of our Champions League runs for the last 3 seasons. We face these big teams. We're really close to being as good as them, but we're not quite as good as them. And it keeps costing us. And there's the second goal, which, I mean, that effectively kills us off. And it's worrying to see just how easy that was. They've just danced through and no defenders tried to make a tackle, and the pass is completely unchallenged. And it's poor. It's very poor defending from us. Sanchez with the in-swinger, and I thought it was going to hit an Apollon head, but it didn't. It's been flicked away by a Liverpool defender, and now they've hit us with a brutal counter-attack that luckily didn't have the necessary finish applied to it. I don't think this 4-2-3-1 has necessarily worked, has it? Leica's come on and not really looked at the races, and it does, certainly on FM20, just deep lying, like defensive midfielders always seem to get better ratings than attacking midfielders, and I do think it weakens the overall team, even though theoretically this should be more attacking. I think the way FM20 works, a 4-2-3-1 is never going to be as effective as a 4-3-3. But I'm open to being proved wrong. And that's a really poor pass from Hernandez, and it's left us in a little bit of trouble. But luckily, Liverpool have decided they're not bothered about grabbing a third. They're just going to keep the ball off of us. Well, that being said, they're setting themselves up rather nicely for a third here with a minute to go. 3-0 definitely flatters Liverpool. If they grab a third here, it's a little bit uncalled for, if you ask me. They've hit the post. Less than a minute left. It still looks like it's been a really even game. I feel a little bit hard done by. I am hopeful that we might be able to might be able to get something out of them at our place, because we've looked good in spells in this game. And hopefully we won't have to play Kalapitas in that game. As much as you don't like me using him as a scapegoat, I think we can all agree Kalapitas is not going to be a Champions League winning right back for us. Alan's got in on the right-hand side here, though. Well, world-class player there, boys and girls. He has won a corner. It's going to be the last attack of the game. It's Sanchez with another in-swinging effort. It doesn't really matter if it goes in or not, because we're not going to score twice. Acosta ends up with the ball, can't get his crossover, and that kind of summed up our day in one move. We had a couple of good ideas, but ultimately they didn't quite work out for us. What I didn't actually follow what went on in the other game there. Where's our group? Are we Group D? We are Group D. So CSKA Moscow beating Hertha Berlin. Will be interesting to see what happens in the other game. Ideal for us is for, in the return fixture, Hertha to beat Moscow, because that means we go into the final round of games still 3 points ahead of either of them, even if we lose, which would be perfect, really. So, couple of league games played, couple of wins. Olympiakos and Panionios beaten. Dalibor Bruman starting to get some league football in. He's one of the players we brought in the summer. Started 7 of our 9 games for us so far this season. 2 goals, 3 assists, 7.36. He's playing a lot, mainly because Leica's been injured, but Leica, as you have seen, is on his way back, just not quite fully back yet. But the league is now looking like this. Ike still on a 100% record. They're going to need some chasing, but we do have the top scorer in the league again in the shape of Ryan Allen, which is nice to have. It's been a little while since we've consistently had a top scorer. I know Lencina was there or thereabouts for most of last year, but he's not a striker. He doesn't count. So this is the team for the next game against Liverpool. We've got Tenesi in goal. A back four of Kansarovic, Criado, Hernandez and Solorzano, who's now fit-ish. Not match fit, but fit enough to start the game for sure. Who wants him? Tottenham. They've already got the other fella. I can't remember his name. The right back that we had. He was Uruguayan, wasn't he? How can I not remember his name? I think he began with an S as well. I need to go and find him. Sension. There he is. I mean, he's still only 23 years old. Why do they need Solorzano? I'll swap him, but if they want to do a swap, I'll take Sension back. Absolutely, I'll take Sension back. Michaelis is going to have to play at the base of the midfield because Milo is suspended for this one. And then Dominguez and Duffy with Alan, Carnevali and Lencina up front. We're doing the swapping back and forth between Carnevali and Alan again, although I've got to remember to turn it off for the league games. So I played Acosta in a league game and German out on the left wing, and it took me about 10 minutes to realise that German was playing up front as a complete forward with Acosta out on the wing. And believe it or not, that wasn't very effective. So that needed fixing. So I have to remember to turn that feature off. If it doesn't work today, I'm probably going to leave it off as well. But fingers crossed, we can, like I said before, get something out of this game against Liverpool today. The other thing we're looking for is Hertha Berlin to get a result against CSKA Moscow. That then makes this matter a little bit less. Although, dream scenario, we beat Liverpool. They've got Chilwell at the back as well. They've got all of my Streamer Showdown boys in here. Gomez now out at right back, Chilwell at left back. This is a disgraceful situation. Liverpool are basically just copying the Kev route to success. Carnevali wins the ball back beautifully on this right-hand side and gets himself into a shooting opportunity. Really probably should be squaring that for Alan, who was in the middle waiting for it, but decided not to. We won a corner. It wasn't a very good one. Ben Chilwell looks on and thinks, I can hit a better corner than that, as I've shown with Kev in the Streamer Showdown multiple times. Yes, Ben, we know you can. But you're on the wrong team. Come and play for Apollon. Kansarovic now with the long throw from this left-hand side. Duffy's the one getting on the end of it. Not really the man we want to be getting on the end of long throws, although Duffy was being chased by Liverpool all summer, so it would be nice for him to show another string to his bow for them. Here is Duffy, plays it into Alan. Kansarovic with the shot, and he scores! And it's 1-0 to Apollon against Liverpool, 31 minutes on the clock, and that is a thunderous effort from Kansarovic on a plate from a combination of Duffy and Alan to set this up for him. Lencina plays it across to Duffy, who could have had a shot himself, plays Alan in, and Alan, so unselfishly, knows that Kansarovic is charging through full pace just outside him, just plays it into his path and lets him hit it first time. It's 1-0 to Apollon. This would be a phenomenal result if we could keep hold of this. A defeat against a victory over Liverpool would be a real feather in our bow. Is that the Please, do you have feathers in your bow? Why would you put a feather in a bow? Feather on the arrow? Do they mean bow and arrow when they say feather in the bow? Or is it like put feathers in bow ties? Where do you put feathers? Let me know down in the comments. I've confused myself with language. That's not like me. Kev, you cretin. It's feather in the cap or string to the bow. Oh, you make me so angry. Right, don't get complacent. Kansarovic, obviously, best player on the pitch at the moment based on one very sweet hit of a football. I can let him have that. He hit it so cleanly and scored the goal, so absolutely deserves the 8.2 that he's on. It doesn't matter what he's done for the rest of the game. He's playing an 8.2 for one kick. Gomez on the overlap here. This must be like a 40-year-old Joe Gomez overlapping and creating goals for Liverpool in 2029. What is going on? What is going on here? It's 1-1, and it was relatively effortless from Liverpool. How we've let this happen. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. And we should be doing better defensively. I mean, you got to look at Tennessee and say, maybe you could do it. Maybe you could have saved that. Maybe you could have saved that. But let's not worry too much. A point against Liverpool is still a good point, especially because Hertha Berlin are winning against CSKA Moscow. So we could, if everything ends as it is, go into the final two games, 4 points clear of either of them with both of them to play. We'd have absolutely taken that. Yes, it does mean that we're accepting that Liverpool are much better than us. But let's face it, we knew Liverpool were much better than us before the game started. Right, we're going to bring Acosta on for Carnevali. And this is why I need to turn off this auto-swapping thing. Because it's a mess when you make substitutions. Apparently we don't have none. And then you want to be a complete forward. I guarantee they swap. Guarantee they swap. Right, we want... They've swapped already. They swapped immediately. For goodness sake, boys. You know which way round I want you to play. Let's not get silly. We've got both Sanchez and German ready to come on that left-hand side if need be. We might actually do that. I think Lencina's going to come off. We're going to bring Sanchez on, and we're going to do what we did in that first leg. We're going to make Sanchez an inverted winger on support, and we're going to make Allen the attacking midfielder here, just because I think Acosta is more likely to have more success with a winger actually trying to cross for him. He's a different kind of striker to what we normally play with, and he needs a different kind of service, and hopefully that's what he'll get from Sanchez playing as an inverted winger. Although, what is the difference between an inverted winger and an inside forward? Nobody really knows. I think one shoots, one crosses. That stings. That really stings. Oh, 92nd minute. And I've just noticed that I don't want to see it. The other game is now 1-1 as well. So what could have been a 4-point gap is now a 2-point gap. It's still manageable. As long as we don't mess up, it's still doable. But it does really hammer home the whole we ain't winning the Champions League anytime soon message. Because every year we come up against an elite team. What we need as a confidence boost is a year in the Europa League. Might even be this year if we mess up. We need a year in the Europa League. We need to go and win it. So we got through to the final when we were a much poorer team than we are now. We need a year in that. We need to win it and just remind ourselves that we are quite good. Acosta's done well here. And why did he not shoot? He had an open goal. I think I'm done with him. I think I'm done with Acosta. I can't be having my striker in the 93rd minute of a Champions League game when we're only 1-0 down, choosing not to shoot when presented with an open goal. That was horrendous. I'm mortified by what I've just seen. Ryan Allen scores there. Carnevali scores there. Oh, Acosta is... We've tried, but he's not my kind of striker. I need my quick, pacey, advanced forwards. It's the only thing that I've been able to get work in the whole of FM20. I've not been able to get anything out of any other kind of striker. Let me know down in the comments if you've had successful complete forwards or target men or poachers. Let me know. The only thing I've ever had any kind of success with is advanced forwards. It's why I've just done one striker systems all year, because I don't want to do two advanced forwards together, and I've got no one to partner an advanced forward because no one else can do what I need them to do. That's really annoying what's just happened there. Well, tomorrow we can't afford to mess up now, can we? Let's just have a look at the league table just to confirm. We're in a much stronger position than we were this time last year. We should still finish second in the group, but Liverpool are much better than we are, aren't they? But then they've lost twice in the league. Oh, at the start of the episode, they were undefeated. They've now lost twice. They are still top of the Premier League. They should be better than us. I don't think they're that much better than us as those scorelines show. We need to believe in ourselves a little bit more in these big games, and we just don't, and it's costing us. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.